Now that you are ready to start adding the parts on your fish, you should have unwrapped your clay pot out of the baggie and taken off the wet paper towel. You can just throw that in the bin at your table. And then you're going to want to start building your fish as soon as possible. So you should have your journal open up to your fish sketch. You want to have this nearby so that you can see all the parts that you need to draw. Same thing with this sheet. If you need to, you can have this one, but this one was from a couple weeks ago, so you probably already made your decisions. But I'm just going to keep this one nearby for myself. So the eyes are the first thing. You are going to get a slab that looks like this. You're just going to peel part of the slab off on the edge. I'm going to get two pieces that are pretty equal, and I'm going to roll these in my hands. So I'm going to make two small clay spheres for the eyes of my fish. Once I have them both, I'll kind of compare. I see this one's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to pinch some of this clay off and then re-roll it. So now I see these are pretty even. So these are going to go on the top of the head. So I need to, every single time I attach two pieces of clay, something called score and slip. So I am going to make some of these little marks in the clay. That's called scoring. And then slip is this like sludgy clay. All it is clay and water mixed together. It feels kind of funny, but it's like glue for clay. So I'm gonna put this right over top, and then I'm gonna put my clay piece, I'm gonna kind of tuck my finger underneath and push up and push this down. And press my eye. It always helps if you kind of blend the clay into each other too, just kind of like smoothing it around. So that way it really stays. Now you can paint the details on later if you wanted to like use your tool and poke like a little eye shape in it, or whatever you feel like would be best for your fish. So I'm going to do this again for the other side. So score and slip. You have to do that. You can't just stick it on. You can't just use slip. You can't just score. It's a combination of both. It works like a suction cup, pulling that clay into those grooves using that wet slip to kind of adhere it together. So I've got my two eyes. Now these two eyes are pretty close together. I could have put it maybe a little bit further over and it would have looked a little bit better. So if you don't like where it is, you can always smooth this out and just try to fix it the best you can. And then put it wherever it is that you want it. So once you have your eyes finished, you're going to work on your fins. Now for your fins, you are just going to be drawing the fins just like you drew on your paper, but you're going to be drawing them on your clay slab and cutting them out just like we did for our leaf bowls. So I am going to go ahead and start to draw some of my fins. So I see that I've got my top fin here. And I'm gonna draw kind of lightly to start. And then if I like the shape, notice I didn't go the whole way through. If I like that shape, then I go ahead and cut it out by pressing the whole way down. Notice I'm at the edge of my clay. It's just like paper. You don't want to cut this right out of the middle. That kind of wastes the clay slab I've already rolled out for you. It's gonna cause more work for yourself later. So now you can see this is perfect to go between my fish's eyes. So that'll be for the dorsal fin, and I'll attach that in just a minute. So I'm going to make all of my fins by drawing them out. The side fin, I need two of these. So I'm going to draw it, and then when I'm done drawing this one and cutting it out, I'm going to go ahead and trace it again on the clay. So now I have two side fins for my fish, and then I just need to make his tail fin. Through. So now that I have all of my fins, I'm going to go ahead and attach them. So same thing, score and slip. You can either score on your fish or on the pieces. And for me, it's a little bit easier to do it on my pieces because I know exactly where I need to score. Whereas on here, I'd have to try to guess like where I need to put it. So I scored and slipped, and then now I'm just blending that clay in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this with all the other pieces, putting on my other side fin, my tail fin, and my dorsal fin. Okay, now that I have all of my fins on and I've got everything scored and slipped, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the mouth part. So for my fish, it just has a tongue, doesn't have teeth. If you had teeth, you would probably be cutting out some triangles. I have a tongue shape, so I'm gonna draw that out. I'm even gonna draw in that line detail of like the groove in the middle of the tongue. Cut that out. If anything happens, you can kind of smooth it over, like it got a little messed up on the edge there. I'm gonna kind of curve this a little bit, and if your tongue's a little thick, you can thin it out a little if you want it to kind of stretch down. I'll fix that line that I made, and I'm gonna score way back in here. My tail is pretty big, so I gotta be careful of it. So I don't know if you can see from this angle, but I'm scoring inside, adding the slip, and then I'm going to press that tongue into it, and I'm gonna kind of blend the back of the clay into the fish so that that tongue stays put. If you have teeth, you can do triangles up above, down below. And then the last step is any side details. So you can see I have dots on mine. I could either add pieces of clay or I could just use my stick and make some dots on my fish. Or maybe I just paint the dots later. Depends on how much time you have left. And then I will be coming around and writing your name and your room number on the bottom of your fish if there is time for me to do that. Extra clay will just get squished up into a ball and put at the end of the table so I can use it for another class. I can roll this out and make it into a new slab.